Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Brooke blasts Ridge and runs off with Nick. Now that Brooke has been swept up in all the recollections of Italy and the media limelight with Ridge, she's questioning why she indeed came. Being around Ridge like this is just too hard, so Brooke is surely floundering right now. Nick will hope to distract Brooke and show her a different path forward. When Nick pushes Brooke to leave for some Italy fun, Ridge will stand in the way and get into a heated showdown with his rival. Brooke will decide she's had enough of Ridge being so jealous when he refuses to reunite with her. After Brooke puts Ridge on full blast, she'll run off with Nick and let him bedazzle her with some romantic moments together. Nick will prepare to take Brooke out on the boat and deliver a marriage offer to Flashback, so he'll surely have big plans. Ridge and Brooke took some awkward press prints before Hi's ex-wife decided she couldn't take the pain of this trip together presently. Ridge and Brooke traveling by boat together as indelible played. Once Brooke and Ridge made it to Capri for the fashion show, Eric wasted no time in telling Ridge that he saw Brooke kissing Nick and it looked enough serious. Ridge wasn't happy about Nick coming to Italy and making moves on Brooke, but she acted like it was nice to see a man of action. The fashion show ultimately began, so several models started out wearing gorgeous designs. Brooke surfaced in the Looker before joining Ridge and Eric to answer media questions as well as disguise for prints. The press couldn't get enough snaps of Brooke and Ridge together since they were the king and queen of fashion. There was some awkwardness as Ridge faced questions about his engagement to Taylor. Nick's boat still wasn't ready, but he was suitable to get another bone. And made his way to the fashion show venue. Eric crossed paths with Nick there and advised him down, so he was obviously hoping to pump the thickets on any Nick and Brooke cling. Brooke got overwhelmed after posing for all those prints with Ridge and bolted. Ridge chased after Brooke, who was frustrated since everyone was glad to see them together when they weren't actually together, at least not as a couple. Brooke was tired of all the restarts they'd had in their love and complained since Ridge was too stubborn to admit he still loved her. After Brooke questioned why she indeed came to Italy, she wondered if Ridge liked seeing her like this. Ridge claimed he didn't and told Brooke that she couldn't go when she blazoned she couldn't stay there. Lee will reject Sheila's plea while Lee will hide a shocking verity back. Sheila is hopeless for some check regarding Luna, so she's been pushing for answers about Luna's ashes or grave. Despite Sheila's plea, Lee won't give her the response she's looking for. Lee will simply argue that there's nothing she can do for Sheila now and maybe prompt her to just move on with her life. When Lee tells Sheila to let this go, she's only going to add to Sheila's reservations. Sheila can't stop allowing about Luna and will continue to fixate on her after Lee's strange response to her questions. The weirder Lee acts, the further convinced Sheila will come that she's got commodity to hide. Lee is indeed keeping Luna's survival under wraps since she's caring for her slow bastard and granddaughter behind unrestricted doors. Lee assured slow Luna that she wouldn't let her die and fitted her with commodity to help her recovery. Sheila was busy complaining to Deacon at Il Giardino since Lee refused to return her textbooks and calls. Sheila still demanded Luna check, but she hadn't been suitable to pry any word out of Lee regarding where Luna's ashes had been scattered or her body had been buried. Although Sheila pushed for those answers once Lee showed up for takeout, Lee clearly didn't feel eager to unmask anything. Nick has big plans to crash the trip and surprise Brooke with a romantic gesture, and he's pulling out all the stops. He'll return as a single man, and he'll be on the prowl for an answer. Since Nick's return, he's been on a charge to win back Hi's ex-wife Brooke. That's all going to change however. Who'll the captain end up with rather? Nick plans a big offer for Brooke in Italy, but trials say that it all goes south. We don't know what exactly happens, but Ridge ends up overboard and Brooke turns down the captain. When the dust settles, Ridge and Brooke will return to Los Angeles reunited and Nick will be the odd man out. Nick will be sticking around, that means he'll be looking for an answer. What better option than his family's other ex-wife? Taylor will also need a shoulder to cry on when Ridge reunites. We forget that Nick was also married to Taylor at one point, and the two have as important history as he and Brooke do. Nick and Taylor will both be bitter and lonely, the bold and beautiful pens are setting the stage for a grand vengeance answer. Imagine Brooke and Ridge's shock when they realize their spouses have hooked up with each other. Steffi to decide to leave city for a bit. Grace intelligencers on Finn. It seems that Grace made a big mistake when performing Liam's surgery. Steffi addresses to Finn. The brunette needs to leave city a bit to recharge. The croaker says of course, he's fine with it. They talk about Liam's surgery. Finn says the surgery seems to have been successful, but Grace is avoiding his questions. At Bill's house, a nanny checks on Liam. The case is recovering veritably well. When she leaves, Liam and his pater talk. Bill is thankful he'd the plutocrat to pay for this surgery. As they get emotional, the father and son clinch. Finn stops by to see Liam. Bill leaves to take a call, leaving Liam and the croaker alone. Liam tells him Sheila stopped by. The case addresses about how Steffi thanked Sheila. The content changes to the recovery. Finn asks if he has gotten any further information about the procedure. Liam hasn't. Finn checks his incisors and seems thwarted. They're much lower than they typically would be in a procedure like this. Grace intelligencers from hard before making her presence known. Grace is pleased with the recovery. Liam says he oddly feels good considering he just had major surgery. Finn remarks that it's inconceivable as Grace internally freaks out. Ridge and Eric are getting ready to leave for the trip to Italy. Eric continues to badger Ridge about Brooke. Taylor continues defying Brooke. After Taylor stomps down, Nick approaches Brooke. The Golden is supposed to leave her diary with Nick. Ridge enters and frowns as he watches Nick kiss Brooke. Steffi enters and is sure the trip will be a huge success. As for her, she needs some time off. Steffi warns her father not to give in to Brooke's soliciting. Eric follows Nick and knows about his trip to Italy. Eric orders him not to intrude. Nick says that Ridge is engaged to another woman. Everyone rejoins and Taylor cinches eyes with Steffi as Brooke gushes about the trip. Taylor kisses Ridge while Nick recalls his time with Brooke in Capri. Nick obviously rubs Ridge the wrong way. The half-sisters refuse to admit their relationship. They also can't see eye to eye on anything except that Brooke is the most inconceivable woman in the world. Nick's rearmost words have suckers buzzing. Ridge and Nick go head-to-head is like watching Mean Girls. In a recent discussion, Nick said to Ridge, "Oh, shut up. And stop calling her Logan, you're marrying another woman." Ridge claims he doesn't like Nick, but he doesn't say why. He just angrily declares that he doesn't like the Joe. We suppose we know the reason. Ridge doesn't like that Nick is trying to invite his Logan. He doesn't want Brooke to get involved with him because it drives him wild with covetousness. He's upset that Brooke is considering dating Nick again. It's been driving him crazy, but he wouldn't admit it. Still, some suckers wonder if Nick is doing too much when it comes to Ridge. They do'nt flash back him being this contentious in the history, which has some wondering whether Nick has good intentions. Brooke, Ridge, and Eric arrive in Italy for the business trip with Nick tagging on. The trip promises lots of glamour with a gusto of love. Brooke, Ridge, and Eric arrive in Naples, Italy for their business trip. The triad is saluted by the press, who give them a warm hello. After making a speech, Eric toasts the crowd with a glass of champagne. Brooke gets her want of getting some alone time with Ridge. The two take off on a boat to enjoy the sights of the Mediterranean seacoast. The spouses feel to be having a good time, which might reignite the spark. Bridge's reunion will be baffled by Nick conniving his coming move on Brooke. The former ocean captain rents a boat to Capri, conceivably to take Brooke on a romantic lift. Nick's been trying to get Brooke to forget about Ridge and move on. Will Nick's romantic gesture move Brooke to give him an alternate chance?